And what a special night it is going to be tonight. Welcome in, everybody, from a little bit of different location tonight. We welcome you into the Gem City Sports Podcast, brought to you by our friends at Rebich Investments. Man, what an episode we have cooking for you tonight. Middle of the week, middle of the month. Valentine's Day is just around the corner, and you might see them in a bit of a different location tonight. That's because we have a lot of exciting basketball to get to. Gannon, Edinburgh, at the time of this recording, getting set to kick off what will be an exciting doubleheader. The second time each team has played each other tonight, 5:30, 7:30, the tips at the Highmark Event Center. Gannon looking to continue their run to get the top two seeds on both sides of the PSAC tournament for the men and the women. Edinburgh looking to get right back in the thick of things and climb the ladder to make their push to the PSAC tournament. So a new venue, new location, but tonight we have a very special episode for you in store. You know, there are lots of records that get broken, milestones that come to pass each and every single season. But for high school basketball, there was a record that we knew a couple of years ago could potentially be broken if and only if this singular player was able to keep doing what she was doing throughout the start of her career. That was Makayla Presser-Palmer, the Northwestern forward guard combo who's now a commit to Arizona, who has done inexplicably amazing things during her career with the Wildcats. And just as a sophomore, the conversation started to really debate and started to percolate. Could she potentially claim the crown for the District 10's all-time leading scorer for girls basketball? Sheena Aiden was the one who had that mark. It was set back in 2007. She scored over 2,400 points. We knew Makayla could potentially get there, but would she? Well, it finally happened against the Iroquois Braves just a few nights ago. She scored 28, gave the Wildcats what would be their 18th win of the season, but surpassed the all-time record, and she now stands alone with 2,424 points in her high school career, something that may never be broken again, and if it does, it's going to be by an all-time great. Makayla Presser-Palmer is destined for amazing things. So the focus of tonight's special episode here on the Gem City Sports Podcast is Makayla Presser-Palmer. We're going to bring her into the show in just a second from now. Before we get to her, though, of course, we want to talk about our sponsor, Rebich Investments, with whom, without them, we could not do what we do on a week-by-week basis. Make sure to follow the show, of course, on our socials, Gem City SN, on Instagram, X, Facebook, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts. We're streaming live tonight on all those channels. But of course, Rebich Investments, they're live every day for you, keeping financial guidance simple. If you want more information, go to their website at www.rebichinvestments.com, or you can simply call their phone number during normal business hours. That's 814-734-3433, 814-734-3433. Rebich Investments, keeping financial guidance simple. And with that, we are more than thrilled and honored to be joined on this special episode tonight by the one of one in 2,401, Makayla Presser-Palmer, who now owns the District 10 all-time girls basketball scoring record. Amongst other things that have been going on in your life, Makayla, it's got to be a great, stressful, insane, wonderful time to be Makayla Presser-Palmer. Is that what you would encompass it as?
Yeah, I definitely would say it's a good time to be me, yeah.
Take me through, we're going to talk about your career, Arizona, all that in just a few minutes. But when you hit that shot and you had a great couple of interviews with the local news outlets about how you were smiling when you got the ball, because you kind of knew that was the play that you wanted to get the scoring record on. What was that moment like for you when the ball went in the hoop?
It was like such an amazing moment, like everything leading up to it too. Like, yeah, my teammates were like telling me to keep running this one play. So like I like figured and I knew that I was gonna be the when I was gonna reach it. And I was like a little nervous because I knew like if I missed it or whatever, but once the ball went through the hoop, I was just like so relieved and so grateful, and just to be able to spend it with like everyone.
I got to imagine a stressful game for you, too. Obviously, it was a convincing win for you guys, but I'm sure you've got family, friends, your teammates, of course, are there. They're all expecting you. Was there a little bit of pressure that you had to fend off in that game?
Yeah, there's always pressure. Yeah, but I knew like if I just like play my regular game, I knew I'd be able to get it. But yeah, especially like if I didn't get it or anything, so I'm just glad that I did.
Let's talk about your career as a whole. There was a lot of conversation, probably the beginning of your sophomore year, as to, okay, Makayla's really, really good. She could do amazing things in District 10. She could set the scoring record if she keeps doing what she was doing. Did at any point it get into your head freshman, sophomore year that you felt like you really believed that you could set these sort of records, get these kind of marks? When did you start thinking that all this was possible, including setting the scoring mark?
Yeah, I feel like my like Steve, my coach, probably brought it up to me because like this, I like, couldn't even like imagine breaking like a record. Like it wasn't even like in my thoughts. So I would say probably like the end of like my sophomore year, like junior year, when I realized like wow, like I'm like on track to break records and stuff.
And I can imagine that it's hard for you at that moment to really envision something like that because I mean, it's always coach speak, right? And player speak. You're always focused on the next game, next task at hand. How did you manage those expectations throughout the years of your career? And I know you're still playing. We say this like it's past tense, but it's not. How did you manage those expectations, knowing that the more you scored, the more it was understood that that would be in the horizon? How do you manage sort of that weight throughout your career?
Yeah, I just knew I had to, stay calm and play my game and not like try to, change anything just because like eyes are on me and that like close to like breaking records. And I just knew if I played my game and everything, then everything would like fall into place how it's supposed to.
So let's talk about this season so far. Clearly, this Wildcat team, and we're going to talk about a lot about Wildcats, two different teams over the next few minutes here with you. But you go back to last year, the run you had in your region, the run that you had in districts. You had to go through a hard district to get to states, and then your run that you had in states and nearly getting all the way. What has been the key to having the same success this year? Because I think a lot of people, they look at a player like yourself or a team like yours, and they think, all right, well, everyone's coming back. The expectation is that you win. But we all know it's not that easy, right? The makeup of a team is always different. Injuries can happen. Bad spurts can happen. What's been the key to being as consistent as you and this team have been this year?
Yeah, just I would say our chemistry. We have such strong chemistry, that really helps us, to lead to our wins and just like working hard, like in practice and everything, and the things that like people don't see during like the games and stuff. And we work very hard, and we do like a lot of film on like each team and everything, so we really know like what their tactics are and stuff, and that's how we're able to shut them down and for us to be able to win.
I can imagine as much as your play on the court is important, your play off the court and the way that you strategize and you prepare off the court is such a big part of you now as well. Obviously, we're gonna talk about Arizona, and I'm sure there's already been some tips that's been given by coaches as to this is how you can watch film or this is what you can do to get ready for a game. How has the off the court process of your game evolved? Film watching, studying, all of that stuff over the course of your career.
Yeah, film and studying has been like a big thing, especially for me. Just like like even getting ready for college and everything, because it's like gonna be very important. And just yeah, all the off the court things, like even just like me shooting and everything, is like really the reason like how I'm like so successful in the games. And yeah, I would just say film's very important because you get to know like the team and how they play, and we can like stop how what they're going to do.
Was that something that always came naturally to you? I feel like about 99% of athletes, they hate practicing, they hate watching film. I'll raise my hand. I was one of those. I played baseball. I played baseball with your brother when we were in Legion. He was not. He was a student of the game. He was much smarter than I. Did it come naturally to you to study film, to look over that stuff? And if so, how did you learn to be better at that and to enjoy the process?
Yeah, film can be like obviously like a lot of like, like boring and everything, but it's like again at the same time it's like basketball, so it's like fun to like watch and everything. And yeah, I've just learned like I'm gonna have to do it. So I just like find like fun in it and just, try to make the best out of it.
How do you learn the schedule of being a 24/7 athlete? You're a student, of course, as well. That's an important part. And student athlete's such an important part of who you and so many others are. But basketball, I'm sure, has become a 24/7 thing for you now. At what point did it click for you that, like, okay, there's more to the basketball process than just shooting hoops? Did you figure it out middle school, elementary school, high school? When did it click for you, Makayla?
Yeah, I feel like low key middle school is where it like started to me. Like it's not just like shooting and everything and always just like having a basketball in your hand, because like rest and recovery is also important, which I've like realized early on. So yeah, I feel like yeah, definitely not shooting is the only part to basketball.
It is amazing all that what goes into something like this in the career that you had, and there's still more career to go. Makayla, Presser Palmer joining us here on the Gem City Sports Podcast, brought to you by Rebich Investments, D10's all-time leading scorer. And you get a chance to add to that. Of course, you have one more game tomorrow. You're going to play Mercyhurst Prep. That's a big game, a team you'll probably see in the District 10 playoffs. But I would imagine this team, we talked to Coach Steve last year on the pod. He's hard on you all. I know he is, but in a good way. What is the expectation and the hope for this team, Makayla, as you go through the rest of your high school career? Is a state championship in the cards if you play the way you think you can play? What's your goal as you complete your high school career here?
Yeah, I definitely think that we can go like as far as like state champions. Of course, that's always like the goal for every team, and I think if we are definitely capable of doing that, and we're just gonna try to go as far as we can in playoffs. And if we play our best for every game, then we're gonna be able to go as far as we can.
How does D10 prepare you for what you're going to face in states? You know, a lot of the times in sports, District 10 is always fascinating because there are some sports where it's deeper than others, right? You know, football, there's maybe not as many teams competitive wise in District 10, but girls and boys basketball, oh my goodness. I mean, you could have 4 or 5 teams from your region specifically, forget your class, that could win the state championship with how good they are. How much does that prepare you, given the competition that you play day in, day out, right? The Senecas of the world that have really tested you this year. Eisenhower played you about as close as any team has played you. Mercyhurst Prep's never an easy out. What is it like in terms of preparation? How big are those games getting you ready for the postseason?
Yeah, those games are definitely very big because, again, we've like played them like many times, so we know, and obviously they know us too, so we can come into like games and playoffs where the other teams probably have watched a lot of film and like know us very well, so we'll just like have to adjust and everything, and just us playing the team so many times really helps us to break down everything and know what like the easiest shot is and everything.
So break this down for me, Makayla. You play in such a difficult region. You're in such a difficult classification. District 10 is built on defense. You figure that out in the time that you've been here, right? Teams would rather give up 30 or less than score 55, 60 or more. What is the key to scoring at the rate you can against this sort of talent? You know, one-on-one, you can take almost anybody. I know that, but teams play against that. They play playing for you, right? They're going to double team. They're going to play press. They're going to try to play aggressive zone. In District 10 and in the game you play, what is the key to scoring at a consistent rate? Is there a strategy that you've been able to implement that's allowed you to get this record and play as well as you do every game?
I would just say just playing as hard as I can, like hard work, like it's gonna beat talent every time, just like diving for loose balls, getting like all the rebounds for fast breaks. And I would just say, yeah, playing very hard really helps me to, keep my consistency in all my points and everything. And yeah, like I'm like used to like the double teams and stuff. So like if I'm double team, obviously my teammates are gonna be open, and if like I'll still find a way to score and everything to get my team to win.
And you have been this season, 24-24 in points. Maybe you keep doing this in the postseason, you're going to get somewhere in the vicinity of 2750, 3,000 if they gave you an extra 3 months. I don't think would be out of the question either. But that's then. This is now. Makayla, Presser Palmer joining us here on the Gem City Sports Podcast. We're going to get into Arizona in just a bit, the other Wildcat team that you'll be playing for next year. But I want to ask you about Coach Steve. Coaches are such a big part of this as well. Of course, he came in the middle of your tenure. It really seemed like he developed a culture that Northwestern has been able to exude in the last few seasons. What is it with him that has made you a better player? What has he taught you? Take me through what Coach Steve Sawin has done with this team to get you and the team to the level that they're at right now, where you're a consistent contender every year in states, forget just District 10.
Yeah, I think Steve's like a very great coach, and he just pushes us so hard, and that's what like helps us, to be such a good team that we are. And he also he like listens to us too, like if we have like suggestions to do, because like we're on the court, he's like also very like open to like us like having suggestions and anything. And I think that like helps our team win and everything. So it's not just like his perspective, and he has like all of our perspectives on it, which really helps us.
How quickly did you develop that relationship? We don't see coaches all the time allow players to give their insight like he does with you. pretty quickly early on. Would you agree that the team bonded really, really well? And I'm sure that mentorship has really helped you in your growth and aspirations to get to the highest level of basketball.
Yeah, I definitely agree that that has helped us a lot. And my relationship with Steve, like we like clicked, like our whole team, we like really loved him when he came into coaching, and he's like so nice, and it's like just amazing. Like I'm so grateful to have him as a coach, and yeah.
We know he's a great coach when you can call him by his first name and doesn't really care. I love it. Steve is wonderful. Like if I could ever get that relationship with players as a coach, that would be great. So excited, obviously, for the playoffs. You have one more game against Mercyhurst Prep coming up tomorrow night, and then it'll be the 3A playoffs in what's going to be a loaded field. Can you preview that for me a little bit, Makayla? Because you have Mercyhurst Prep, Seneca, Eisenhower, all those teams are going to be in the field. Is this the most competitive field in the District 10 playoffs that you've seen since you've been at Northwestern? And how do you stack up the teams you'll be facing in the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, I would definitely say either this or like my freshman year would be like the most tough. But in this, like overall, I feel like the teams were all better. Like there's like shared like skills and everything. So yeah, I'm excited to see like the matchups and everything. And I'm just yeah, we're just gonna keep working hard to be able to get the District 10 title.
Makayla Presser Palmer joining us here on the Gym City Sports Podcast. Arizona commit, highest scoring player in District 10 history. Let's talk about the other team that you're going to play for next year. You must love Wildcats a lot because you traded one red and black Wildcat team for a red and blue Wildcat team a little bit further west. But we'll talk about Arizona in a second. I want to go all the way back to when you started this recruiting process because you publicly were putting out offers as soon as the end of your freshman year, maybe early sophomore year. We saw those offers come out. I imagine they were even greater beforehand as well. You had some offers before you started putting them out publicly. What has been this process like for you? And take me through the navigation of going on visits, talking to coaches, all that sort of stuff. From your perspective, from a Division I commit, what was that process like for you, Makayla?
The process in the beginning, it was definitely like very stressful, I would say, because it's just like so much like calls every day and text, just like your phone blowing up all the time. But as like I became more like used to it, it was like very great, and I'm still like very grateful to be able to have this opportunity. And I would say the visits are like my favorite part because you actually get to, you get to like go on the plane and you get to go visit the colleges and everything and meet great people. And I would just say it's like a great process and you get to meet so many people, and I would just say that even though if it's like stressful or anything, like you'll get used to it, and yeah, it'll all like get calmer as you get more familiar.
What was the biggest thing that hit you in the face when you started this process? I mean, overwhelming, of course, but was it what was essentially the biggest thing that you had to learn to get used to in this process and in this decision that ultimately took you a couple of years to decipher out?
hmm I would probably say, to be honest, just like asking questions because um like coaches will like go on, like they'll like tell you about like your college and everything, and like you feel like all your questions are like answered, but they definitely want you to ask more questions, and that's something I had to like get used to just like ask more questions because I didn't really know like anything to ask because I felt like everything was answered. But
Well,
yeah,
it's nerve wracking too, asking questions
yeah,
to a head coach, right?
yeah, 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 it's very, but I got used to that. Yeah.
So you have all these Division I offers, many from Division II as well. I mean, you had your pick, a lot of great picks, right? And you eventually settle on Arizona, a school that has a powerhouse for basketball. We see how the men's team is doing this year, number one in the country. They've only lost one time. The women's team has a storied history. Why did you settle on the Wildcats to go to Arizona? Break down that decision for me, Makayla, and what you really like about that program.
Yeah, I would say the coach is very like I love the coach and I love her style of play, and I definitely wanted to go to a school that was like fast paced and had my style of play, like getting downhill and everything and just playing hard, and she's a very hard coach, and I like I need that criticism, so I knew that I would be able to get better and better every year at Arizona. And also right when I like got there on my visit, it was like amazing. Like the people were amazing, the rest of the staff. I just like right when I got there, I felt like home. And yeah, I'm just so excited to be able to go there.
What were those conversations like? I mean, there's a lot of familiarity, I'm sure, right? You both grew up in Pennsylvania. You were both state, great in states. She was in Class 4A in her high school. You've been playing in 3A. What were those conversations like? How did you build that relationship? And I'm just curious to hear some of the behind the scenes conversation that took place between you and coach, because I imagine you had a lot more in common than maybe other players and other recruits that she had and did.
Yeah. So we've like known each other like for a while because she was like the first person to actually recruit me. So it's like kind of like a cool like a full circle moment that like she's the first and now like I'm going there. And yeah, our conversations they're like never boring. Like they're always it's always so fun to talk to her. And yeah, we're just like sometimes talk about basketball, sometimes just like talk about like whatever like TV shows we're watching and just like have like regular conversations like that. And yeah, she like really showed that she wanted me like very bad, and that's also something that I put into like consideration because I want a coach that truly wants me to be on their team. So yeah.
Are you two on the same page with what TV shows you're watching? Does she have
Uh
one? Do you have another?
yeah, I feel like we are kind of on like different like wavelengths of TV shows. And
Fair.
yeah, so it's yeah.
So break that down for me. Who watches what? What are your favorites and what are her favorites?
I would say mine are like more like teen, like trending like things now. And she like watches like a lot of like basketball, like men's, women's, like any type. And I would say like I probably watched like when we would talk about it in the summer, like Love Island was a big one I talked about, and yeah, all those like summer shows, like The Summer I Turned Pretty, and yeah.
She's the basketball junkie.
Yeah.
Listen, you're young enough. You're allowed to watch those shows, and no one's gonna know the wiser. No one's gonna care. It's perfectly fine. So if she gives you any grief, your people in Erie give you a pass. That's for sure. It seems like you relate to her well, and we see now so often in collegiate athletics, professional athletics, that players coaches, right, or coaches that can relate to players are more desirable for recruits and players and transfers. Is that something that she brings as well, the relatability factor? Because I mean, the two of you obviously got along very well really early. You've known her for a while. How has that relatability portion been in for Coach Burke in the time that you've gotten to spend with her?
Yeah, I would say that just like relating to each other is very important because obviously I want a coach that I can like bond with and like talk to things about. So yeah, I'm like it was like always fun talking to her. And yeah, I agree. Like just having things to relate to and stuff really like helped me with this process because it just made like conversations and everything so fun to talk about.
You mentioned you like their playing style and the way they play, and you've watched more Arizona basketball than anybody probably watching this podcast. What about that play style do you like? Is it relatable to what you're doing now in high school? Walk me through kind of the strategy component of what you expect to be playing in next year.
Yeah, I would say it's very fast paced. Like I'm just yeah, I that's like the type of playing style I want to play, like going downhill and super fast and the kick for the shoot. So I would agree it's definitely my playing style, and it's definitely gonna get used to. Like I have to get used to it because it's like even faster than how I already would like to than I already like do play, which is like even better because I obviously want to play like as quick as possible. And with like the hustle that she puts into the players.
You mentioned that it was the first team that really recruited you at the high Division 1 level. Loyalty is a big part of who you are. Again, your family is so embedded into the community and does a number of great things with Northwestern. Of course, you have family members and siblings who have played for Northwestern teams. What was the loyalty component of this for you, and in the fact that relationship, I imagine, really helped maybe calm your nerves that you had in the recruiting process, knowing that they were on you pretty early?
Yeah, yeah. Again, that like shows like how much you really wanted me at a young age, like eighth grade. And yeah, it's just very amazing, and that really like shows like that showed me how much that she like cared for me and wanted me to be on her team. And yeah, I would just say it's yeah, it really helped me, pick my decision because of how like early she recruited me and everything, and how much she believed at me in such a young age.
You have a lot of time. I know it doesn't feel like a lot of time, but still some time before you move out west. But I can imagine the nerves are still going to be pretty high. Have you had a chance to process any of this? I mean, you committed officially in September. You were probably in the midst of your preseason prep by that point. You're into the middle of the school year. Did you ever have time? Have you had time to just sit back and think, man, this has been a whirlwind, but this is happening? Like, has that ever crossed your mind yet? Have you had time to think about that at all?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah, I've really like processed it that I'm gonna be like, going to college first off and like going so far away, like, and I feel like I haven't even really like settled in that much. Like, I feel like closer like to when I actually leave, it's gonna like really hit me. Like even like senior night and like this high school like basketball season ending like shortly. It's just like crazy to me that like everything's like almost over and everything. So it's like slowly like getting to me. Yeah.
I want to talk about just kind of a when you look at your history and your career and what you've been able to do. Your names are going to be written in the record books forever, right? This record's going to be so hard to be broken in District 10. You've made so much history at your school, Erie County, in this area. Uh, but a lot of players who are watching you, a lot of young players who are taking a look at this stream, who have heard from you, will look up to you, right? As they've looked up to so many other great athletes that have come through the Erie area and done great things. Take me back to when you first picked up a basketball. Maybe it was when you were 2, 3, 4. I don't know. My daughter's throwing foam balls in the house at 1 year old. So maybe you were 9 months. I don't know. But that young Makayla Presser Palmer, what would the Makayla now tell the Makayla then that maybe some of the younger athletes that are watching this are leading you from example that they can take from this and from what you would tell her?
Well, I'd probably say just like, um, your time's gonna come and don't like compare. I would definitely say to like not compare yourself to other people because like it's like very hard to like in the basketball world, like, oh, this person has this offer and everything. So I would be like, don't compare yourself to people, and your own time will come and you don't need to like be on the same wavelength as anyone else, and just do your work, and the work that you put in will show out on the court.
Was that something that you had to figure out yourself, the comparison part? Because I imagine as you're going through colleges and you're getting offers and you're in a group, right, a small group of prospective student athletes that are getting all these offers. What did it take for you to just focus on yourself as opposed to thinking, oh, well, she has this offer and she has this offer and things of that nature?
Yeah, I just had to like tell myself that like I should be grateful to like be getting offers anyways in the first place, because like some people like don't even have any and wish they did. So yeah, I just had to keep reminding myself that I should be grateful and everything, and that wherever I'm supposed to be like go, then I'm meant to be.
So as we get ready to wrap this up, Makayla, I'll throw you a couple of softballs here. Hopefully this interview hasn't been too hard, but you get to move out west. It's going to be fairly warm. You're not going to
Mhm.
have to deal with the S word. I imagine I know the answer to this. Are you going to miss the snow?
No, I'm not really gonna miss the snow. I mean, like, I guess, like, some of the, like, fall, but, like, not, like, the crazy, like, no. So, mostly no.
What do you think is going to be the key for you to have success early on in Arizona, especially with how excited I think that recruiting class is going to be for next season?
Yeah, just adjusting really to the college atmosphere and everything, because college and high school and AAU is completely different, and just, finding my shot and finding, like, my role in the team, and yeah, really just taking my time and learning to, build up to be like the best player I can be.
Makayla, it's been awesome getting to see you compete these last 4 years. And again, I keep noting that it's still present tense. You still have games left to go. Hopefully, we see you for a bevy more games in the district and the state playoffs. Of course, Mercier's prep tomorrow night. Couple of history makers. You broke the scoring record. Mari Nixon just got her 1,000th point, so can't wait to see that matchup again. I imagine that'll be something you miss. Obviously, bigger and better things await you, but what will you reflect most greatly on from your high school career when it's all said and done come next month?
Yeah, I would say just again like the environment, like the home games, like everyone like being together and everything, and yeah, like the records and stuff, obviously, like and stuff. But yeah, I would just say like on even like the friends I've made here, like I'm gonna have to like start over again in Arizona. So just like the foundation I've made here and the environment everyone here.
Becky, I'll tell you what, I can imagine that your friends are going to want to come out to Arizona to watch you play, in part because they're excited to watch you play, also in part because they can get away from the negative 27,000 degree weather that we have.
Yeah.
Beauty of basketball, right? You get to play in the bad season, so everyone wants to come watch you play.
Mhm.
Makayla, we truly appreciate you coming on this show. I know that it's been a whirlwind for you and everything that has gone into this recruiting process, but we certainly wish you the best. It's going to be an awesome career for you in college. And again, congratulations on the history-making moment.
Thank you so much.
Well, tremendous thanks to Makayla Presser-Palmer for joining us on our show tonight, a part of this special episode. District 10's all-time leading scorer on the girls' basketball circuit, Makayla Presser-Palmer, 24-24 is her point total, and she's no doubt going to be over 2,500 by the time the district and potentially state playoffs come to an end. Just a great individual who embodies what it means to be a student and an athlete, and will take her talents to play for another Wildcat team in Arizona coming up in the fall. But that's then. This is now playoffs on the horizon for Northwestern, and we'll continue our shows of the Gem City Sports Podcast with high school basketball playoff outlook, including our reaction to the brackets coming up next week as playoff games get underway. A reminder, our show is sponsored by Rebich Investments, keeping financial guidance simple. If you want more info, you can go to the website at www.rebichinvestments.com, or you can call their phone number during normal business hours at 814-734-3433. All right, that does it for us tonight on the show. Again, one more thank you to Makayla for joining us in what's been a busy, hectic, but certainly a wonderful 4 years for her as she gets ready to embark on her next leg of her basketball journey. Our next show is tomorrow night, less than 24 hours from now. We've got Off the Record coming your way. Another great episode in store. Trevor Kubea and the Otters roster have been doing a great job. We had a couple of amazing episodes the last few weeks as they continue their season. That's coming up tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. You can watch it on all of our social channels as well as the Erie Otters YouTube page at Erie Otters is where you can go to find that. So many more shows to come. We'll have a couple more Rust Belt rundowns starting next week as we wrap up the NFL season, debating how close the Steelers, Bills, and Browns really are on a scale from 1 to 10 of winning the Super Bowl. Plus, we're going to give our way too early Super Bowl predictions for Super Bowl 61 coming up next week as well. Paul Adamczyk hosting the Draft Podcast. If you've missed that, every single Tuesday at 7 o'clock, he brings you the best insight that you can get locally for what to expect for our local teams for the NFL Draft, which is coming down the pike as well, just over 2 months away. All right, we're done here. Thanks again, everyone, for being a part of our incredible, incredible family. We love all of you. And on behalf of the Gem City Sports Podcast Network, thanks again for watching our show. This has been the Makayla Presser-Palmer interview. Off the Record tomorrow, Rust Belt rundown next week with the Draft Podcast. We keep rolling along. We thank you for being a part of our podcast family. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday night. Stay safe on the roads, and we'll see you all.